half an acre, so you can see the list there of the different fires that we've had. Nothing major. The 50 acres on the East Toe fire since I last talked to you, and that was just right there, right after that day, last time I spoke. So, town of Dolores is still remaining in the fire ban status for now. Everybody else is out of their status. Let's see. Forecast, fire forecast. I just gave you an updated one before you went for lunch, and the most recent one, they kind of left one of the days out, so I gave you the one from last night. But you know, it's looking fairly promising. And then I just sent you guys and Shaq the weather report I just got from the National Weather Service. So we're expecting actually some flooding conditions going on, which I did print up. I don't know where I put it, but talking to the National Weather Service, I find it interesting. He declared a lot of things on the maps. He was showing us that we're going to get weather coming in, possibly a lot of rain in our area Wednesday and Thursday, and then he said probably Saturday and Sunday. And then he showed another map that said we're not getting any rain, and he said, so take that with a grain of salt. So trying to figure out the weather pattern, like I said, I'm not the guru on this, but we do have some latest weather updates, and we're looking at some flash flooding going on and a lot of rain coming up. So
it looks like it's going to be present all week long, correct?
It's what?
Pretty much throughout the week?
Yeah, throughout the week.
I called home, told them to cover the haystacks and everything, because Jim said it was going to rain on Wednesday, so.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Come on.
what do they say? Congressmen and weathermen, you can lie all you want and get away with it. So, yeah, I'm trying.
It still keeps
So,
your job.
Jim, in your professional opinion,
Stop. No.
who's wrong more often, politicians or weathermen?
Weatherman.
Yeah, no comment. I just leave that one alone. So, sorry, boss. I stay out of that political stuff. So our national preparedness level, of course, is at 5, and it's staying there. We're running out of teams. I sent out a little highlight on the different teams that are, we're just running out of teams to go to all the fires across the United States. But our local level dropped to 1, and then it came back up to 2, which really isn't that significant. So we're okay with that. Let's see. Water updates. The water levels are going down. The flow went down. Right now, I had McPhee at 19,000 plus or minus acre feet. It's at 17,268 this morning. So it's gone down. The groundhog has gone down, of course, 4,041. And it looks like our flow this morning at 0600 was around 75 CSF, so CFS, sorry. And it's starting to drop too, but we'll see that go up, of course, with the water coming in. Air quality, I started adding that in there because of all the fires, and we're getting that, so you can got a good idea how strong it was over, August 7th. It was getting up there, and August, 11th, it was up there. It's kind of going up and down, but we're still in an area that, is not going to affect our health too much at this point. COVID updates are in there. Last month, actually 4 weeks to the day, Department of Homeland Security Emergency Management site visit. They came out. It was during our commissioner meeting then, and they actually were very impressed with Montezuma County. So let's hope that goes into their paperwork and that we don't have too many items we have to check off this round. But they were pretty pleased with everything that we've been doing. The CWPP, James Dietrich has been working diligently on that, and he said he's around 89% complete now on that. So we ought to have that out to be reviewed by the stakeholders in all the different subdivisions. And then we should be able to kick that one out, because that one's old as well. That's 2012. So we're trying to update that. EOP and my annexes, 204 pages, gentlemen, not 300, so it's looking pretty good. I have the EOP and all the annexes, and I just want to tell you, we're at 90% compliant, which we meet the state standard, and I'm done with that thing. My intern, who is Arlena Yazzie, who's been working on her time off to get her master's program, she's put 50 long hours into this, and she's been helping me format this and put the information in. So she's been knocking out of the park. So
Good job.
we're almost ready to send that out to like 60 stakeholders for everybody to start reading, you know, and then when we get their comments, then you guys get it, and you get to read another document, yeah. So we're pleased with that. Annex 1, the building plan's finalized, everybody approved it over there, so we're gonna, I'm waiting on GIS right now to give me some floor maps, and then that one's done. So we got most of our plans done for the buildings. And then we did do a fire drill over at Annex 3, came out pretty good. As many people as we could do it without causing a problem inside with customers who really wanted to work with the clerk's office. You know how they are with DMV. So we made it work. It was a good fire drill. And a lot of work, just paperwork, just trying to get stuff done. A lot of admin stuff that I've been doing. And the signs that Cortez Fire makes up, I had one made up. And I have it, and it's ready to go on my balcony, so everybody knows where I live. So I just want to let you know I'm part of this plan, see? So,
Great.
yeah. That's it.
It is a horrible feeling
Oh, I
to
know.
not have a.
God, we used to
live there
respond to
at
residents,
somebody's
and
house.
of course, you know, in the old days, it was you go past the old school and make a right-hand turn at Bill's Place, and then it's the house on the left. I mean, we never had addresses, but it's pretty, yeah, it's pretty scary when you go, and then they're claiming a heart attack, and you can't get there, and or the house is on.
Doors?
Huh?
You're knocking on doors?
Yeah, I know.
Knock, knock, knocking.
Yeah. Anybody having a heart attack in here? No. Well, you know what?
See you later.
No. Okay.
I know, it's scary,
No
so.
matter now, let's go back to the station.
Yeah.
Too late.
Go down the
Okay.
road a quarter mile and start knocking on doors again.
Yep, yeah. That's
Well,
it,
good.
gentlemen.
Make sure it's up by 6 o'clock.
I'm gonna do it. I'm
All
gonna
right.
post that thing.
Thank you,
Ready to
sir.
go. Good to go.
Appreciate it.
Jim.
While you're here.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure you probably know, the federal government declared Monday a water shortage on the Colorado River. Arizona will be cut 18% of its Colorado River use. Nevada is 7% cut, and Mexico is cut 5%.
I didn't know that. Thank you for that information. I didn't get that info. Huh. Interesting. I wonder what the domino effect is going to be now.
I don't know. I think they're looking for emergency managers to track this water release and make sure it gets to Lake Powell.
Yeah.
Well, right now, the only way they're gonna get it there is put it in a bucket and haul it down there, because it's not gonna make it down the river.
Right? The fish can't even get the 7,500 acre feet they're supposed to have. Yeah.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Jim.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, Shek, you have a resolution that we need to look at?
I do,
So I'm
and
going way back up into the agenda now.
I'm going to ask Miss Rachel Marchbanks Simbeck to join us, please.
Okay.
I flipped this piece of paper a lot.
Yes, so have I. That's why I said I'm all over it
I'm
right
almost
now.
to get to the last page.
And I'm going to take a brief time out. Rachel yells frequently when she's here, but I don't want her to have to today.
Thanks, I'll try not to be too loud.
So what this is, commissioners, is the Cortez Chamber has approached the county about being a pass-through agent on a grant that they would like to pursue to help the businesses on Main Street. There's a Beautifying Main Street grant that's available through DOLA. It's supposed to be twofold to help with business facades and then also energy efficiency. I'm not sure how the two are related, but the state put those two together in one bucket, so that's what it is. But in order to move forward with the grant, DOLA is requiring a resolution from the pass-through agency. And so this just says the grant program, the Colorado Main Street program is open, and that the county has administered grants before as a pass-through, which we have. You're familiar with what we've done for the museum and the Calkins building and blah, blah, blah. 20% cash match is required of the applicants. In this case, the sub-grantees, the businesses would need to put up that 20%. The grant has to be submitted for by August 23rd. And this is just a resolution saying that the board supports the application and will ensure that there's matching funds from the sub-grantees, and that will disperse and comply with the requirements of the grant if it's awarded, and that you would authorize the expenditure of funds necessary to meet the terms and obligations of any grants awarded, so that we're saying when the money comes in that we'll make sure it goes to the businesses it belongs to, and that you'd be giving me permission to sign the documents for this.
Anything else to add, Rachel?
No, that covers it, unless you have any questions.
I do have a question. So this
Okay.
is for Main Street. Is that specific for just the businesses on Main Street in all three municipalities?
No.
No, it's just, in this case, it's just for Main Street and Cortez. So it's the traditional downtown area of Cortez.
So in Mancos, they've also applied for the grant on behalf of the businesses in Mancos. The Cortez Chamber did approach the city, who is unfortunately still ineligible to apply for DOLA grants, and so they asked if we would consider being the pass-through for Cortez until they get their audit
So
situation
how much more
straight.
is this going to require out of you or together as far as us as the county? Because if we're going to manage these to make sure that it gets to the specific businesses, I'm just asking questions. I'm not saying I'm for or against this right now, but how much more staff, more time
So the way
per-
it works is the Cortez Chamber, it would be responsible for organizing all of the paperwork, getting in the portal, submitting to DOLA, and copying the county on the submission. And then DOLA would write the checks after these businesses have expended them. And then with our regular check run in here, we would have to run a check to the Cortez Chamber, and they would get the checks back out to the businesses.
There is a small administrative fee that can be written into the grant, which I believe the chamber is doing.
which would cover your staff time to
Well,
take care of it.
yeah, we would ask for 1% of it to go to Rachel.
Right, if we are
If we're
awarded the grant.
successful.
Right.
Correct.
All right.
And the chambers, they collect that 20% cash mat.
The 20%, so say somebody's improving their HVAC system as part of the energy efficiency, they would pay whoever it is, Comfort Air, let's say, to come in and do the assessment, replace the air conditioning or whatever, and then DOLA's going to reimburse them the 80%. So the 20% comes from them, and then when they submit for reimbursement, the check will come through the county and we'll pass it on to the Cortez Chamber.
Okay. Any other questions, gentlemen?
No. Move we support resolution number 11-21, authorizing a Main Street project in Montezuma County.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept a resolution authorizing the Main Street project in Montezuma County, resolution number 11-21. All those, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your patience.
It took so long.
Also, too, while you're here, don't run away. Since I have you, I'll ask the question that I
Okay.
was kind of discussing with Sean.
Sure.
Where, I mean, obviously the solar is a big issue. It's coming down. There are more funds coming available. And I don't, just, where do we stand as far as with the fairgrounds and that application for the solar out there? And what do you need, what do you need help from us?
I can let you know on that. Currently, we're looking at another grant for the fairgrounds to recuperate some potential loss from the 2020 county fair. But as far as the solar, I'll have to get back to you on that one.
And that what you're just talking about, that's one of the new grants that just came out, that we were notified, what, a couple days ago, probably?
Yeah, yeah, and it's the deadline is coming up really
Okay.
soon. So.
All right. Well, just get back to me whenever. I'd like to keep that actively being pursued, and if it's something that can work, then we'll get back with Empire Electric and see if we can't get back to general three-phase power out there instead of demand three-phase, or I'm not sure if the terminology is correct, but we have to do another evaluation to move that direction, so please keep going on that.
Okay,
Okay,
sounds good.
thank you.
And since we're talking about solar, you can go, but I just wanted to update the commissioners on Annex 3. They're still waiting for materials. So it was supposed to be done last year, but it is what it is right now.
It is what it is. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, let me turn my pages here. Okay, unfinished business. I don't have anything listed right here, Shaq. Have I forgotten anything, gentlemen? Like all the decisions that we had to make, we made last week. I didn't think anything came forward.
The only thing, and there's nothing we can do with it yet, is we are collecting applicants. We've had 2 so far for people interested in serving on the Southwest Roundtable, but you may want to hang out a while on that. You may decide you want to take whatever's here by next week and do something with them.
So should we do have those applications? You guys want to send up a interview process for those people next week? Or what's your?
Yeah, I think so.
Is next week too early, or you think anybody else is gonna apply, or?
I don't know if they do. We can schedule them for next
Okay.
week, though. And then while we're on the water issue, I haven't heard a word from Don Schwint. You want me to get him on the agenda too?
Yeah, get him on the agenda so we can hear what's going on from his perspective. Also talking about the water issues, I did get a email from Commissioner Cooper. I forwarded the response that I got onto you guys, that it sounds like we will be getting a draft to the NCA soon.
And now I think she had asked for availability dates from you all, and I don't
I-
know that you've responded.
Yeah,
we did
Jim
respond.
did, and I told him same days it worked for me.
Okay, you must not have replied all, because I didn't see your reply. I did see yours.
That has been taken care of. Now it's just a matter of them putting together what dates work the best.
Yeah, and then I will need to public notice. I don't have one ready yet, but I need to public notice that the commissioners will be attending a
CCI.
Western Region District meeting in Montrose on Friday, And a cattleman's thing, that's this Saturday, Joel?
Saturday evening, yep.
Okay.
August
So-
21st, 6:30 PM.
I'll get those public notices out.
Okay, well then, I think we'll move on. This is, I guess, kind of, we'll put this under unfinished business, but we had a letter that James Dietrich gave to me. Shaq, I have given that to you. Would you go ahead and display it on the Elmo?
I will. In fact, he emailed me a copy, so let me just put it up on the. So this email came to me about 9:45, and I wasn't watching my emails. But let me just give you a very basic background from my understanding of this. This gentleman, Mr. Black, I believe was the name, has a well up near Road W up by Boggy Draw that he'd like to get piped out, and I guess he's getting some pressure to cap it instead. And so again, commissioners, I've not had time to proof this letter. It came to my email about 9:45 this morning. So, but I guess James is asking you guys to take a position on this. It says the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners would like to state our firm opposition to any action that would force Black Resources to plug an existing well that has been there since 1990. Montezuma County Assessors 2020 data shows over 56% of county revenue comes from oil and gas production. Production has already declined by over 30% in 2021, and that trend is expected to continue over time. The state 3611 well will provide 20% royalty interest from Colorado State. Land board lease is for the benefit of the Colorado School Trust. Preserving as much quality oil and gas production as possible is critical to maintain Montezuma County services and to operate our schools, which are funded largely through the production of taxes. The state 3611 well has passed all safety inspections required by the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission, COGCC. The gas well produces the gas this well produces is pipeline quality and at low pressure. Montezuma County still has a natural resource-based economy. I think we need to strike the word is. Still has a natural resource-based economy, and oil and gas resources are certainly an important part of the economic portfolio. While Montezuma County is actively pursuing alternative energy development such as solar, transition to renewable energy cannot happen overnight. It is critical to maintain fragile rural economies as this change happens. Natural gas is a transitional fuel, and it will provide a dependable, albeit temporary, production stream as our county makes an energy transition. The State 3611 well is an existing resource, and it should be used if it is available. The overall decline in domestic production is not only detrimental to the transition to renewable energy, but it also represents a threat to national security by increasing our dependence on energy produced from unstable or unfriendly regions. Harvest Midstream has expressed interest to construct the pipeline along the route, which would provide market access into an existing in WGPL. So I'm guessing that's a natural gas pipeline. We already have potential for production, and we have a means of transit available. There is no reason that the resource we have at hand should not be used. As Montezuma County and the nation transition into renewable energy, we support the continued production of oil and gas resources needed to make the transition happen, especially in small rural communities that have few potential assets. Please allow Black Resources Incorporated to continue with their operation of the State 3611 well.
And the other thing that I had a quick, brief conversation with James was, planning had a map that they were showing me. This gas line would be approximately 10 miles or plus or minus. It has to go through BLM, the state, and then back through private property. So just to acquire the easements, I mean, would be obviously a challenge. A heavy lift doesn't mean that it can't be done, but it would be probably a long time coming. So this is another one that came in late last night, so we do have it in front of us. We can take a position one way or another, gentlemen. Kind of
I'm fine with this.
what's your pleasure?
Yeah. Joel, you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I don't think we want to give in to any of it. We want to keep it all going. If they can't get it there, that's not our problem, but we
Well, it's
wanna
not being,
support it.
yeah, it's not being produced right now. It's just a
Right.
well location. So it's not anything that's the way I understand it. And again, I could have read it wrong. There's nothing that's being produced out of it right now. It's just basically a wellhead there, and that's why the COGCC is asking to cap it. So,
I would move we sign a letter in opposition to plugging the Black Resources well.
I'll second it.
okay, it has been moved and seconded to send a letter of support to the Colorado State Attorney General's office, Ralph Carr, Colorado Judicial Center in Denver, Colorado, in opposition that would force the Black Resources Incorporated to plug in an existing well. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. There you go, gentlemen.
I can't believe there's still 7 people watching us.
All right. The next one that we have
Oh, sorry.
would be a letter from the CPW. This comes from our manager from this area, our wildlife area manager, Adrian Archuleta. And this is in regards that they have the opportunity. Shaq, if you want to just go ahead and read this one too, we'll go from there.
Sure. So again, Mr. Adrian Archuleta wrote this one, and it's regarding the Twin Spruce Ponds up the Dolores River. He says, I'm writing to request your support for the fee title acquisition of property by Colorado Parks and Wildlife. The property to be acquired is 80 acres of private land currently owned by High Camp Company, which has 8 man-made ponds of various sizes up to 6 acres. The property is located approximately 9 miles north of Dolores along Highway 145. Colorado Parks and Wildlife will be presenting to the Capital Development Committee in the near future. The property has been leased by CPW since 2016 and managed as Twin Spruce Pond State Wildlife Area. It is currently open to the public for fishing from sunrise to sunset. It is an important local property for anglers, especially for families due to easy access and kid-friendly fishing opportunities. The acquisition would ensure public access to the property into the future for local anglers and wildlife watchers. Colorado Parks and Wildlife respectfully requests your support in the fee title acquisition of this property. If you either support or do not object to this lease, please sign at the bottom of this letter and return to me at your earliest convenience. You may either send by mail to the address listed above or email to me at adrian.archuleta@state.co.us. Sincerely, Adrian Archuleta, Area Wildlife Manager. And just so anybody watching knows, this is those ponds up the Dolores River on Highway 145 right there.
So here's another one, gentlemen. What's your pleasure? Do you want to support?
Yeah, I do.
Or go?
Well, I think it'd be detrimental to the community to lose it to an
Right.
investor that might not allow fishing in there and stuff, or there's a million kids go up there and use those ponds, and if it gives access to the other 80 acres there, that's also giving them access to the river up through there in another spot.
I think it's on the other side of the river, right? It goes to the
River
hillside.
runs right behind it.
Okay. I looked at the map wrong. But, yeah, so they couldn't get access to it because Road 36.
Yeah, but the river runs right here. That 80 acres is right here, isn't it?
It's just this highlighted
Oh, okay. Okay.
However, it does cut off 8 ponds that people have actually, they've been there for about, what, 20 years now?
Yeah.
After they mined them out. Okay, well then,
Move we sign the letter of support for CPW for the twin Spruce Ponds acquisition.
I'll second it.
okay, the only thing that I do want to make sure that the people out there that are still viewing, we did review our no net loss policy. And with the attorney who advises that was specifically not with state ground, it was just with federal ground. So just so that everybody knows that. It's been moved and seconded to sign a letter of support for the CPW in regards to the twin Spruce Ponds for a fee title area. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I think Shaq, that's all that I have, unless here again I'm missing something. But
That's all I have too, and I could also be missing something that would also cover my report and James Dietrich's report. So all we have left to hear from is the attorney and the 3 commissioners.
okay, Ian.
Yeah, so most of our cases that are pending before the county are still, we're just waiting on court orders. We've got the Kinder Morgan case that we're still waiting on an order from the Board of Assessment Appeals. They did send an email out a couple weeks ago indicating that they are working on an order and that they're not going to entertain further oral arguments on the issue. So I don't know what the timeline is. I mean, that matter's been before them for 6 or 7 months now without an order. So hopefully we'll get something soon in that regard. We did file a civil complaint against the landowner down on County Road 21. And so we do have a court date for that. That's set on September 24th. So the owner there will have till then to answer our complaint, and then he'll have to appear in court on that date as well, and that case will move forward. Other than that, we still have the Road Y issue. That's still pending before the district court. We're still waiting for a court order on my request to have the BLM and oil and gas leaseholders along that road joined as parties in that case. And so we have not gotten an order in that regard, but that case remains ongoing. Road 41, if you guys will, I think last week I updated you, but at this point, the Court of Appeals does not have jurisdiction to entertain the landowner's appeal because we did file a claim for obstruction of a public highway. That claim was never resolved at the district court level, and so we're going to go ahead and litigate that at the district court level. I have been in touch with the insurance company's attorney, Gordon Vaughn. He's been working with us very closely throughout the case, and so at this point we're gonna push forward with that claim that the landowners down that road did obstruct a public highway with their fences, and so that's where we're at in that matter. Other than that, I don't have anything else to report.
Okay. Questions for Ian? Okay, Commissioner Stevenson.
Last week I attended the Maness Town Board meeting and talked about the gravel pit and stuff. They're happy with filing on that, and not much happened after that. And throughout the weekend and stuff, I've just been kind of doing a little reading and research and stuff.
Okay. Commissioner Lindsay.
Yeah, attended in person, the city council meeting, Cortez. And talked about keeping Montezuma whole, and seemed to have some pretty positive responses. Next day, I received a phone call wanting to know what they could do to help, and we're going from there on that. Other than that, few phone calls, few questions asked and answered, and that's about the size of it.
Good. Okay, well, mine is going to be pretty brief also. I left here Wednesday morning to get back to a housing authority conference. Every flight I was on was delayed, and I think it was midnight when I got back there. Shocking.
Wow.
Pretty standard for us, getting someplace at midnight. The first class I went into was pretty much addressing forms that the housing authority would utilize, way over my head. I quickly got out of that class and went on to another one that was actually more suited for me as a commissioner. Spent the weekend out there, came back on Sunday. Flights were actually on time, but there's a lot of good material that I will pass on to the housing authority when we have our board meeting next week. Housing is critical everywhere, to everybody in every state. So we're not facing anything that nobody else is facing either. So with that, we did not have a meeting yesterday as far as workshop, so we don't have anything to report on that. And with that, I am also done. So gentlemen, we have come to the end of our agenda. I would entertain.
I'll move we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adjourn this September. What?
August. Don't go to
August.
September.